pregnant single mom mistakenly sent her baby bump picture to a Korean Mafia boss. His ruthless response left her trembling. Sanaa's hand shook as she stared at the photo on her screen, a shadowed silhouette of her rounded belly against the fading light of her apartment window. 7 months pregnant and alone in a foreign country, she decided to reach out one final time to the man who'd left her behind. He deserves to know, she whispered to herself, though doubt clawed at her heart. Even if he doesn't care. She typed quickly before courage could abandon her. I'm not asking anything from you. Just thought you should see what your child looks like now. Despite everything, we're surviving. The message sent with a quiet whoosh. What Sanaa didn't realize in her exhausted state was that her trembling finger had pressed the wrong number, a single digit off from the one she'd intended. Across the city in an upscale private room, Lee Jun's phone vibrated during a critical business discussion. 7 men in expensive suits fell silent as he glanced down at the illuminated screen. His face remained expressionless, carved from stone, but something flickered in his dark eyes, something ancient and possessive, as he studied the image of a pregnant woman's profile. Locate her, he commanded, his voice slicing through the tension like a blade. Immediately, his right-hand man Choi shifted forward. Sir, we're in the middle of negotiations with the Busan Syndicate. The terms. Jun's palm hit the table with enough force to rattle the crystal glasses. I said locate her. Tonight. He studied the photograph again, his thumb hovering over the curve of her belly captured in the image. Someone has discarded what I could never have, he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. Find out who she is. The rain hammered against Sanaa's apartment window 3 days later. She stood frozen, watching as 4 men in dark suits positioned themselves between her and her front door. Behind them stood a figure who commanded the space simply by existing. Tall, imposing, dressed in a midnight black suit that seemed tailored to perfection. Please, Sanaa managed, her voice barely audible. I didn't mean to send that message to you. This is all a mistake. The man stepped forward, and the others parted instinctively. His movements were calculated, deliberate, the walk of someone accustomed to being obeyed. When he spoke, his voice carried a dangerous softness, the faintest Korean accent coloring his words. When something becomes mine, I protect it absolutely, he said, his eyes fixed on her. No exceptions. Suddenly, the sound of shattering glass exploded through the room. Gunfire erupted. In a single fluid motion, he crossed the distance between them, pulling Sanaa down and covering her body with his own as chaos erupted around them. Breathe slowly, he murmured against her hair, his body a shield. Nothing will harm you or your child. I give you my word. As danger closed in from all sides, Sanaa understood how drastically her life had changed. One wrong number had altered the course of her entire existence. 3 months earlier, Sanaa had sat at her small kitchen table, surrounded by overdue bills stamped in angry red ink. Her laptop displayed yet another rejection email from a potential employer. While we appreciate your qualifications, we cannot accommodate your current circumstances. A polite rejection because no one wanted to hire a visibly pregnant woman with no family support. At 26, Sanaa found herself stranded in Seoul, South Korea, a city she'd moved to 3 years ago for a marketing position, where she'd fallen for the wrong man and now carried his child. The memory of Marcus's face when she told him about the pregnancy still stung like an open wound. I'm not ready for this, he'd said, his eyes avoiding hers. My career is just taking off. A child doesn't fit into my plans right now. He'd left for America 2 weeks later, leaving Sanaa to navigate pregnancy alone in a country where she still felt like an outsider despite her fluent Korean. Her phone rang, the hospital calling about her latest checkup. Ms. Okonkwo, your blood pressure readings are concerning. Dr. Park's voice was gentle but firm. This pregnancy is high risk. You need to eliminate stress and get proper rest. Eliminate stress. As if she could simply wish away her mounting debts and uncertain future. That evening, Sanaa stood before her bathroom mirror and captured the silhouette photo against her window. The The setting sun painted her profile in warm gold, highlighting the life growing inside her. She opened her message thread with Marcus, months of unanswered texts staring back at her. Something compelled her to try once more. Not for herself but for their child. She typed, "I know you've moved on, but I thought you might want to see this. I'm not asking for money or anything else. Just wanted you to know that we're okay." She attached the photo and pressed send, not noticing that exhaustion had caused her finger to slip on the final digit. In Gangnam District, Lee Jun presided over a meeting with Seoul's most dangerous organization leaders. At 35, he'd built an empire that stretched from legitimate tech investments to the shadowy underworld most citizens never acknowledged existed. "Your proposal is insufficient," he stated calmly. "You're requesting protection in Incheon without offering adequate compensation." The eldest man leaned forward aggressively. "The Kim family has controlled those territories for decades. We're offering you access that most would kill for." Jun's phone vibrated. An unknown number with an attachment. He should have ignored it during such a critical negotiation. Instead, something made him open it. The image filled his screen, a woman's silhouette, pregnant and alone. The message below clearly wasn't intended for him. Something shifted deep within Jun's chest, like a door long sealed suddenly cracking open. "Gentlemen," he said, his eyes still fixed on the phone. "We'll resume this discussion tomorrow." The men exchanged startled glances. No one left a negotiation with Lee Jun unfinished. After they departed, only Choi remained, frowning at his boss's unusual behavior. "What happened?" Choi asked carefully. Jun slid the phone across the polished table. Choi studied the image, confusion evident on his face. "Someone sent you a photo by mistake," Choi observed. "Find her," Jun repeated simply. "Before sunrise." "Sir, with respect, why do you care about a random woman's misdirected text?" Jun stood and walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the glittering Seoul skyline. "The doctors confirmed it last month," he said quietly. "What I've suspected for years. I can never father children. It's medically impossible." He turned to face Choi. "And here is a woman carrying a child that someone has abandoned. The very thing I would sacrifice everything to have." Choi nodded slowly, understanding dawning. "I'll find her." Sana woke to 5 missed calls from an unknown number. As she reached for water, the phone rang again. "Hello, is this Sana Okonkwo?" A man's voice, formal and professional. "Who's calling?" "My name is Choi Min-suk. I represent Mr. Lee Jun. He received a message from you last night and wishes to speak with you." Sana's mind raced. "I think you're mistaken. I don't know anyone named Lee Jun. You sent a photograph of yourself," Choi continued smoothly. "Mr. Lee would like to meet with you personally. A car can be arranged." "No," Sana interrupted, alarm bells ringing. "I sent that message to someone else by accident. Please just delete it and forget about it. I'm afraid Mr. Lee is quite insistent. He's a very influential businessman in Seoul and simply wishes to speak with you briefly." Chill ran through Sana. "How did you get my name?" "Ms. Okonkwo, Mr. Lee will be at the cafe across from your building at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Your attendance is voluntary, of course." The call ended. A text message followed immediately. "Ms. Okonkwo, I understand your hesitation. Mr. Lee merely wishes to offer assistance. He will wait at the cafe across from your building at 1 p.m. You are under no obligation to attend." Choi Min-suk. They knew where she lived. A complete stranger had tracked her down from a single text message. At 12:45, Sana watched from her window as a black luxury vehicle pulled up outside the cafe. 2 men in suits emerged first, their eyes scanning the street with professional vigilance. Then he appeared. Even from a distance, his presence was magnetic. Tall and broad-shouldered, moving with the confidence of someone who'd never questioned his right to occupy space. His tailored suit probably cost more than her monthly rent. At 12:58, Sana decided she wouldn't go. At 1:03 there was a knock at her door. Her heart hammered. She hadn't given anyone her apartment number. "Ms. Okonkwo," came a deep voice through the door, that subtle Korean accent present. "I'm Lee June. I received your message. How did you find my apartment?" she called out, not opening the door. "I have resources," he replied calmly. "I apologize if that's unsettling. My security team is downstairs. I came up alone. Just 5 minutes of your time. That's all I'm asking." Something in his voice, not threatening but sincere, made her unlock the door. He entered her modest apartment, his imposing presence immediately making the space feel smaller. But he didn't look around judgmentally. Instead, his focus remained entirely on her. "How did you find me?" she demanded. "Your phone number led to the rest," he answered honestly. "The process wasn't entirely legal. I apologize." "That's not exactly reassuring." The corner of his mouth twitched, almost a smile. "Probably not." 5 minutes, Sana said firmly. "Then I want you to leave." He nodded and took a seat, though he looked slightly uncomfortable folding his tall frame into her small chair. Up close, she noticed details. The expensive watch, a faint scar near his temple, hands that bore subtle marks suggesting familiarity with violence. "Your message was meant for the father," he stated rather than asked. Sana stiffened. "That's none of your concern." "No, it's not," he agreed. "But I received it anyway. And it affected me." "Affected you how?" June studied her carefully. "You wrote that you weren't asking for money. That despite everything you were okay." He glanced around at the stack of bills, the worn furniture, the apartment that was clean but clearly the home of someone struggling. "Are you truly okay?" "I'm managing." "You're struggling," he corrected gently. "Alone in a foreign country." Anger flashed through her. "I didn't ask for your opinion about my life, Mr. Lee." He accepted the rebuke with a slight nod. Sometimes the universe creates the right connections through mistakes. That sounds like something from a drama. This time he smiled, brief but genuine, transforming his severe features entirely. "Perhaps. But I believe in destiny, Ms. Okonkwo." "What do you actually want?" June was quiet for a moment. "I want to help you." "Why would you help a complete stranger?" His expression shifted, something vulnerable breaking through. "Because I can never have what you're carrying. The doctors have confirmed it. I will never father children." The admission hung heavy between them. "I don't need your pity," Sana said finally. "I'm not offering pity. I'm offering support." "In exchange for what?" His eyes met hers, unflinching. "Nothing. This isn't a transaction." Sana laughed incredulously. "Men like you don't do things without expecting something in return." "Men like me," he repeated thoughtfully. "You mean wealthy men who can track down strangers from a phone number?" "Exactly." He conceded with a slight nod. "Fair assessment. But this is different." "How?" "Because when I saw your message, saw that someone had abandoned what I would give my entire fortune to have, I felt compelled to act. As if the message was meant for me to receive." He placed a business card on her coffee table. "My personal number. If you need anything at all, call me." She didn't touch the card. "Your 5 minutes are up." June stood. "One more thing. The father of your child is a fool." Before she could respond, he moved toward the door. "I won't intrude again without invitation. But my offer stands. Whatever you need." 4 days passed without contact. Then, on the 5th morning, a delivery arrived. Groceries, prenatal vitamins, traditional Korean health foods given to expectant mothers. That evening, she texted the number from his card. "I didn't ask for groceries." The response was immediate. "I know. Are they adequate? Why are you doing this?" "Because you need it and I can provide it. No obligations. I don't accept charity." "It's not charity. Consider it a gift from someone who respects your strength." The following week, as Sanaa trudged home from a doctor's appointment in pouring rain, the black luxury vehicle pulled alongside her. The window lowered, revealing June. "Get in," he said simply. "You shouldn't be walking in your condition." "I'm fine," she insisted, water dripping from her hair. "You're soaked, it's cold, and you're 7 months pregnant." Before she could argue, the door opened. When she climbed in, he handed her a warm towel. "How did you know where I was?" she asked suspiciously. "I didn't. I was heading to a meeting and saw you walking." She raised an eyebrow. "Coincidence?" "Destiny," he corrected with that ghost of a smile. "You keep saying that word. Because it applies. What are the odds that out of millions of numbers, you would text mine specifically? The odds that a powerful man would keep tracking a woman he's inexplicably interested in? Pretty high, actually." Something flickered in his eyes. Amusement. "You're very direct, Ms. Okonkwo." "Sanaa," she said suddenly. "If you're going to stalk me, use my first name." This earned a genuine smile. "Sanaa then. And I'm not stalking you. Merely looking out for you." "Is that what your men across from my building are doing? Looking out?" His smile faded. "You noticed them. I'm observant. They're there for your protection." Sanaa's heart skipped. "Protection from what?" "Soul can be dangerous for a woman alone," he said carefully. "And my interest in you could make you a target." "What are you exactly? What kind of businessman needs armed men watching an apartment?" "The kind who has enemies," he answered honestly. "The kind who wants to ensure that his concern for you doesn't put you at risk." A chill ran through her. "Who are you really, Lee June?" "Someone who can help you," he said simply. "Someone who wants to." Over dinner at a quiet restaurant, Sanaa studied him, trying to reconcile the thoughtful man across from her with the clearly dangerous figure who commanded such loyalty and fear. "Your turn," he said. "Tell me something about yourself that I don't already know." "What do you already know?" she asked warily. He looked slightly embarrassed. "Basic information only. For security purposes. You investigated me. I needed to ensure approaching you was safe. For both of us. And was I safe?" Something darkened in his expression. "The father of your child has gambling debts. Significant ones. To dangerous people. That made you potentially vulnerable." Sanaa felt the blood drain from her face. "Marcus has gambling debts. How do you?" "I've taken care of it," June interrupted quietly. "The debts have been settled. He won't be contacted by those particular creditors again." "You paid off his debts." Sanaa stared at him in disbelief. "Why would you do that?" "Because those debts represented a threat to you and your child. The amount was insignificant to me. I can't repay you. I never asked you to." His voice softened. "Sanaa, I don't want anything from you except the opportunity to help. Everyone wants something." "Not always," he said. "Sometimes people just want to do what's right." She laughed bitterly. "In my experience, men who talk about doing right are usually hiding what's wrong." Instead of being offended, June nodded. "A reasonable conclusion based on your history. You're clearly powerful. Dangerous, even. The kind of man who has security teams and can pay off debts without blinking. That doesn't happen in normal business." June was silent for a long moment. "You're asking if I'm involved in illegal activities. Am I wrong? Would it matter if you weren't?" "Of course it would matter." He studied her face intently. "My family has been in Seoul for 3 generations. We've built businesses, established connections. Some of those connections operate in gray areas. I won't deny that. That's not really an answer. It's the answer I can give." He leaned forward slightly. "But I can promise you this. I've never harmed someone who didn't deserve it. I've never broken my word once given. And I would never allow harm to come to you or your child." The intensity in his dark eyes was unsettling. Sanaa believed him, though she couldn't explain why. The next morning, Sanaa woke to unexpected knocking. Marcus stood in her hallway, looking thinner than she remembered, with dark circles under his eyes. "Sanaa," he said, his voice rough. "Wow, you're really showing now." She instinctively placed a protective hand over her belly. "What are you doing here, Marcus?" "I want to make things right," he said after she reluctantly let him in. "I want to be part of our baby's life." "Your life? Why now? What changed?" He hesitated, glancing around at the new baby items, the quality furniture. "I've been thinking about responsibility. About what it means to be a father." "Did your creditors come looking for you?" Sanaa asked quietly. Marcus paled. "What are you talking about?" "I know about the gambling, Marcus. The debts." Anger flashed across his face. "Who told you?" "Some new boyfriend feeding you lies." "A friend," she said carefully. Marcus's eyes narrowed. "A friend? Is that why you suddenly have expensive baby furniture and quality groceries? What kind of friend does that for a pregnant woman?" The implication in his tone made Sanaa's cheeks burn. "That's none of your business." "It is my business if it involves my child," he snapped. "People are talking, Sanaa, about you and some Korean businessman. Someone dangerous. Now you're worried." After 6 months of silence, Marcus's expression hardened. "Is it him? The one who paid off my debts?" Sanaa's silence confirmed it. "Jesus, Sanaa." Marcus ran a hand through his hair. "Do you have any idea who he is? Lee Jun isn't just some businessman. He's connected to people who make problems disappear. Permanently. You gave up the right to have opinions about my life when you abandoned me," she said, her voice rising. "You don't get to come back now and pretend to care." Marcus's expression shifted, calculation replacing concern. "Fine. Let's talk about money then. I'll provide child support." "I don't want your money." "Everyone wants money, Sanaa. Get out." The words were quiet but firm. "This isn't over," Marcus said, moving toward the door. "That's my child you're carrying. I have legal rights. Rights you forfeited when you left me alone and pregnant in a foreign country." After he left, Sanaa closed the door with shaking hands and immediately called June. He answered on the first ring. "Sanaa, what's wrong?" "Marcus was here," she said without preamble. Long pause. When June spoke again, his voice had changed. Colder, harder. "Are you hurt?" "No. Just shaken. He knows about you. About the debts being paid. Stay where you are. I'm coming." June arrived within 20 minutes, flanked by 3 men. Gone was the carefully controlled businessman. In his place stood someone harder, more dangerous. His eyes were cold, his movements vigilant. What did he want? The question was direct, his voice tight with controlled anger. After Sanaa recounted the conversation, June's expression grew darker. "He mentioned my name specifically," he asked. "Yes." "He seemed afraid of you." Something flickered across June's face. Satisfaction, perhaps. "Good. He should be." "What does that mean?" "It means he's been warned to stay away from you." "By you?" "Yes." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I didn't want to worry you." He leaned forward, eyes intense. "Sanaa, Marcus didn't come here out of sudden paternal concern. He's desperate. The gambling debts I settled were only the beginning. He owes money to people who don't negotiate peacefully. Dangerous people." June nodded grimly. "And he thinks you can help him because of your connection to me." "What do I do?" she asked quietly. "Let me handle it." "Without hurting him," Sanaa added firmly. A brief hesitation. "If that's what you want." "It is. Promise me, June." His jaw tightened, but he nodded. "I promise. No physical harm will come to him. But he will stay away from you." "Thank you." His expression softened. "I told you from the beginning. I protect what matters to me." A severe storm hit Seoul that night. Rain lashed against Sanaa's windows as thunder shook the building. The power went out completely, leaving her in darkness with her phone battery dying and only a weak emergency flashlight. As the apartment grew colder and her anxiety peaked, she made a decision. She called June. "I'll take you up on that offer," she said when he answered. "If it still stands." His voice warmed immediately. "Of course. I'll send a car right away." The penthouse was stunning, spacious and elegantly furnished with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the city lights. But it was the nursery that stopped Sanaa cold. Fully furnished with the highest quality items, including a small stuffed tiger with a note attached. "This was mine as a child. My grandmother said it protected me from bad dreams. Perhaps it can do the same for your little one." Tears welled in her eyes. The gesture was so personal, so unexpected, offering not just material support but a piece of his own history. The next morning, she woke to sunlight and the smell of breakfast cooking. In the kitchen, she found June himself, dressed casually, preparing food. "I didn't know you cooked," she said, surprised. "Only breakfast," he admitted with a slight smile. "My grandmother insisted that all men should know how to cook at least one proper meal." As they ate, Sanaa studied him. Here, away from his usual environment, June seemed different, more relaxed, less guarded. "Will you stay here too?" she asked suddenly. He looked up, surprised. "I have an apartment in this building, but on a different floor. I thought you'd prefer privacy." "I'd feel safer with you nearby," she admitted. Something flickered in his eyes. "Pleasure, perhaps. Then I'll arrange it. I can work from here most days." After breakfast, as they stood by the windows, June grew serious. "Your safety matters to me, Sanaa. More than I can adequately express." The intensity in his voice made her heart skip. She was about to respond when a sharp pain lanced through her abdomen. She gasped, clutching her belly. June was at her side instantly. "What is it? What's wrong?" "I don't know," she managed through gritted teeth. "It hurts." Without hesitation, he lifted her into his arms. "I'm taking you to the hospital. Now." At the hospital, doctors diagnosed preeclampsia. Dangerous but manageable if caught early. Throughout it all, June remained by her side, asking precise questions, ensuring she understood every detail the doctors explained. When they were finally alone in the hospital room, exhaustion washed over Sanaa. "You didn't have to stay," she murmured. June sat beside her bed. His usually perfect appearance rumpled after hours in the hospital. "Yes, I did." "Why?" He looked at her, all pretense stripped away. "Because I care for you, Sanaa. More than I should. More than is wise for either of us. When I saw you in pain, when I thought something might happen to you or the baby. I've never been so terrified in my life." A week later, with Sanaa on strict bed rest in the penthouse, June received an urgent call. His expression changed instantly, warmth replaced by something cold and focused. "I have to go," he said, his tone apologetic but firm. "Business that can't wait." Alarm flickered through her. "Is everything all right?" "There's a situation with a rival organization. It's being handled, but I'm doubling security here as a precaution." "A precaution against what?" "The situation may escalate. But this penthouse is the most secure location in Seoul. You're safe here." "Is it dangerous?" "What you're going to do?" "Not for you," he assured her. "Be careful," she said softly. Surprise crossed his face, followed by something warmer. He leaned down, pressing his lips gently to her forehead. "Always." After he left, Sanaa tried to distract herself with television and books, but worry gnawed at her. By morning, with still no word from June, her anxiety had peaked. She tried calling him, but the phone went straight to voicemail. Finally, she contacted Choi. "Ms. Okonkwo," Choi answered immediately. "Is everything all right? I haven't heard from June since yesterday. Is he okay?" "Was. Mr. Lee is in meetings. He's been occupied." "He's not okay, is he?" Sanaa interrupted. "Something happened." Another pause, longer this time. There was an incident last night. Mr. Lee sustained a minor injury during the confrontation. He's receiving treatment but is otherwise fine. I need to see him. That's not advisable. Your medical condition. I'm going with or without your help, she interrupted, determination hardening her voice. Give me 40 minutes. I'll arrange secure transport. June's private residence was a beautiful traditional Korean house, secluded behind high walls. Choi led her through the main gates into a serene courtyard where a small fountain bubbled peacefully. She found June sitting by a window, his left arm bandaged and held in a sling against his body. When he heard the door, he turned, his expression shifting from irritation to shock. Sana, what are you doing here? You should be resting. So should you, she countered, moving closer. You're injured. His jaw tightened. Choi shouldn't have told you. Don't blame him for telling me what happened. Business, he said dismissively. A dispute that became physical. Nothing serious. A dispute that led to you being stabbed. June's mouth tightened. As I said, nothing serious. Don't lie to me. Her voice cracked slightly. Please. Not now. His expression softened, the mask slipping. There was a meeting with a rival organization about territorial disputes. Things escalated. Someone pulled a knife. What happened to him? Sana asked, though part of her didn't want to know. June's eyes hardened. He won't make that mistake again. Was it because of me? She asked quietly. This conflict. Surprise crossed his face. No. These tensions have existed for years. If anything, knowing you has made me more careful. More strategic. He moved closer. I have more to protect now. Sana reached out, her fingers lightly tracing the bruise on his jaw. You scared me. When you didn't call, when I couldn't reach you. June caught her hand, pressing it against his cheek. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to worry. That's not how this works. You can't just disappear when things get difficult. This is my world, Sana. The ugliness, the violence. I've kept it separate from you intentionally. But it's still part of you, she said softly. All of it is. I can't have one without the other. He stared at her, something vulnerable crossing his face. What if I told you I could change that? For you, for the baby. I could leave this life behind. Could you? Really? His hesitation was answer enough. I would try. I wouldn't ask that of you, Sana said. Your world is part of who you are. I just want honesty between us. No more disappearing. June's expression softened, his hand coming to rest on her belly. You continue to surprise me. Good. You need someone who keeps you on your toes. A smile touched his lips. I need you, he said simply. More than I've ever needed anyone. The baby kicked hard enough to make Sana gasp. June's eyes widened as he felt the movement against his palm. Hello, little one, he whispered. In that moment, something fundamental shifted between them. A boundary crossed. Connection deepened. For weeks later, as storm clouds gathered over Seoul, Sana woke to a sharp pain that stole her breath. She reached for her phone with shaking hands. It's time, she said when June answered immediately. The baby's coming. The next hours passed in a blur of contractions and medical teams. When complications arose, the baby's heart rate dropping dangerously, it was June who remained calm, who demanded the best specialists, who whispered encouragement through every contraction. Stay with me, he murmured against her hair as monitors beeped urgent warnings around them. Both of you, please. And then, cutting through the haze of pain and fear, came the sound Sana had been waiting months to hear. A strong, indignant cry announcing her daughter's arrival. When they placed the tiny bundle in her arms, the world narrowed to this single perfect moment. This life she had created against all odds. When June cradled the infant, something transformed in his face. The hardness, the control, all of it melted away, replaced by pure tenderness. Hello, little one, he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. Welcome to the world. The baby quieted in his arms, tiny fingers curling around his much larger one. June looked up, his eyes meeting Sanaa's, bright with unshed tears. "Thank you," he said simply, the words carrying immeasurable weight. As the storm raged outside, 3 souls found shelter in each other. A family formed not by blood or traditional bonds, but by choice, by love, by the mysterious workings of fate that had brought them together through one mistyped digit. One mistaken message had changed everything. His ruthless response had not been violence or manipulation, but an unwavering, fierce commitment to protecting what he'd claimed as his. It had left her trembling not with fear, but with the realization that sometimes destiny sends exactly what we need in the most unexpected ways. If you enjoyed this story of unexpected love and second chances, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming tales. Drop a comment below telling us what you think Sanaa should name her daughter. See you in the next story.